Lately, I have become reasonably and I think understandably obsessed with image to video technology. The major players out there are allowing us to create some amazing things, and it's only going to get better from here. This technology allows you to create an image something like this and turn it into something like this with a simple text prompt. Last week, I shared a video about one of these services that takes images and converts them into video, and part of that was this video that you're seeing in the background, a sort of a trailer to an imaginary film called Sleeper, and all of this was created using images that were brought to life in this platform. You'll see that I was able to create a consistent character who ran throughout and use all sorts of moods and styles and create something with visual effects and the whole thing that was pretty amazing. This allows a creative thinker, without the resources it would take to create a film trailer like this, to do it sitting at their desk. Just a few more examples. We take an image like this and create shots like this, or an image that starts like this and turn it into something like this. So you can see in this case, I've created a series of images with a similar theme so that I could potentially put them together in some sort of a film or a trailer or other creative project. But what's probably the most important factor in any of this working and being effective? It's the images that drive the whole thing. So if you're going to take on a project like this, you're going to want an image editor that you can use pretty quickly, has a lot of flexibility, and to create the consistency that you need to create a piece of media that anyone's going to take seriously. Of course, there are countless ways to generate AI images. We've got free solutions, we've got paid solutions, we've got free solutions that you can run on your own system like Comfy UI that, although complicated, give you a lot of flexibility and something that you would probably want in a filmmaking workflow. And then you have online subscription services which offer you all sorts of flexibility with models and looks and feels. And ultimately, it's going to be your personal choice as to what workflow is going to work best for your personality or your creative style. Today, I'm going to show you a powerful tool that is perfectly capable of creating images like these and others that you would want with the consistency that you need for film, plus the flexibility of different looks and styles. But the real kicker on this one is their pricing model, which is so different than almost everybody else out there. So stick around and I'll share that with you in a little bit. The tool I'm talking about is called Artspace, and it works with this infinite canvas, and you may recognize some of these images here from the examples I just showed you from the image to video site. You'll notice there's a fair amount of consistency among all of these. The color palettes are complementary, the styles of the aliens are all about the same, and they're all here arranged on this canvas where I can move them around and things like that. We're going to get back to the canvas in a bit. Right now, I'm going to clear it out completely and walk you through the basic interface by clicking this brush up here and clear the entire canvas. Let's start along the left. The first icon is the gallery. When you click the gallery, you'll see examples and the settings used to create the examples from other users in the platform. So you can learn this way, you can get inspired this way. Next is their blog, which they keep updated with information on how to use the platform. The next icon is about membership details, which I'll get to later. We have a link to the community, which links to a community page here on Facebook, which currently has 3,000 members and lots of examples of things that people are doing with the platform. Get started is probably the best way to get started because it takes you to a page with a full online guide on YouTube, which explains again how everything works. Along the top, we have undo and redo buttons. You're probably familiar with the concept there. The history button will allow you to see everything that you've generated, including the prompt and the model, and the ability to recover that image into the canvas so that you can work on it again with all the settings intact. Formulas is a really interesting way to enhance your prompt in a variety of styles. You start with a simple subject like a cat on a table, and then all of this is automatically added in. We'll experiment and show you examples of that as we get into creating things. Next is the eraser tool, which holds a ton of power when it comes to inpainting and outpainting, and then clearing the canvas we've done. Upload Gallery is a way to take the art that you create here and share it with the community, and Upload allows you to upload your own images for further editing or processing here on the platform, and Download, of course, allows you to download the work that you have done. You can zoom in and out of the canvas here with the plus and minus signs. This rectangle here is called the art box, and you can change the size of it, and this will determine the size of the image that you create. You can zoom in on this art box when your canvas is full by just clicking that button there. You'll get taken right there. And then if you have a lot of images on your canvas, you can zoom to fit and they'll all show up. We'll get there. Move is just another way to activate moving around, but I generally will hold down the middle mouse button and then that provides the same idea. You can zoom in and out of the canvas with the mouse scroll wheel as well. Along the right, we choose the models. Now, while this site doesn't have hundreds and hundreds of models to choose from, the models that they do have do an excellent job and give you some great variety. I find myself mostly living in the Flux model or the Nova 24 preview, but I'll also play in the photorealism styles as well because I tend to like images that are more realistic than illustrative or painterly. Something to note with a lot of these models is they have something called presets with them. These are basically ways that you can change the overall style of the image that you create by just choosing these presets ahead of time. So you don't actually have to prompt for fantasy or analog film. it'll fill in the blanks for you, but not with text so much as with information that modifies the model. You'll also notice that most of these models have this seed image down here. This is a way for you to guide the direction of the image by using what's called a seed image to dictate the style and the composition, and you have control over how much that happens. So let's start actually using this and see how it works. First of all, let's choose the size of our initial art box. We can do that by clicking and dragging here. Right now I'm going to choose the Nova 2024 Flux model, and then we'll choose some of the other ones so I can show you the presets and the seed image. Another way you can choose the starting dimensions is to click these numbers in the upper right hand corner, and then you'll have a drop-down list of default, full HD with predetermined resolutions. Let's just create a starting image. Man eating a hamburger at a 50s diner. I'm just going to leave it like that, no embellishments whatsoever. And in a few seconds, we've got our first rendering. And you'll notice that the art box automatically slid right over so that we can do another rendering. If I wanted to quickly do another rendering, I can just click the go button again and it will spit something out here in a few seconds. And now we have a little bit of a different take here. Let's change the model to this Nova 2024 preview, which does give us the ability to use presets. And let's use something very different, like anime, for example. And let's see what just this model and the preset for anime does to a man eating a hamburger at a 50s diner. All right, that's done. Very different style. We can move the art box back over it and then say zoom to art box and we'll be right there. If we wanted to zoom out and fit everything into the canvas, like I said before, we can click zoom fit and the canvas will fit on the screen. Let's say we want him in a more specific position. This is where we can use a seed image. So now I've loaded this image, which is just me straight on. This slider determines how closely the new creation should mirror the seed image. I don't want it to look exactly like this. I'm going to leave it at the default for right now and just see what happens. For now, let's go back to a realistic preset, move the art box where we want the image generated, and click go. Okay, well, that was interesting. Definitely more of the composition, and we've even got the sort of the purple hues. Let's move it over about halfway and run it again. That is awesome. Weird, but awesome, and could probably use a little bit of work, but still a really cool effect. Let's take a closer look at this image here because it's got some problems. We have an extra hand. We've got pens in what looks like tomato juice or something. He's got at least 5 fingers, and we don't even know how many thumbs back there. So what are some ways we can approach changing these things? That's where the magic of the eraser comes in. This allows you to inpaint, which means you can change various elements in the image that already exist or add things that aren't there, or outpaint, which is to extend the boundaries of the image to make it bigger in one direction or another. Let's get rid of this hand here. We're just going to click the eraser. We're going to choose this. We're just going to erase it, and we're going to just remove the prompt altogether and see if it can just figure out what to do given the context around it. But where does it get that context? It comes from the art box. So first we need to turn off the eraser. The eraser, by the way, can be toggled either by clicking on it like we did before, or by holding the control key, which is a much more convenient way to do it. And while holding the control key, if you click the right mouse button and drag it back and forth, you'll see that the paintbrush gets smaller and larger. So this is an easy way without clicking on sliders up here to change these brush parameters. So with that off, I can move the art box around this area. I don't want to give it too much context because then it's going to try to recreate the whole entire image and then just fill in that area. I want to give it enough context so that it knows that's the edge of a hamburger and that there's a person there and all of that. So I'm going to put the art box right around here. I'm not going to put any prompt and I'm going to just generate. And now the hand is gone. I'm going to choose those extra fingers and just the insides there. And I'm going to say, man is eating a squid burger. You know what I should do is leave room for tentacles to hang out, right? Now, we definitely want to make sure that the art box is over all of that area or else it will not render in there. And in fact, I'm going to say man is eating a squid burger. The squid tentacles are hanging out of the bun. Just be real specific. And let's get that going. That could be squid, but I think I need to be more specific. Eating a burger with a live squid in it. Go ahead and undo that and then just try it again. That's a little more like it. So we've got like a ground squid maybe with some tentacles coming out of it. And we did fix the hand. Now this drink here doesn't look very appetizing. He looks like a Bloody Mary guy to me, and that's kind of what this seems to want there. So once again, just make the brush a little bit bigger. Select this whole area here, move the art box back over and say Bloody Mary with a jumbo shrimp garnish and long celery dog. And render. There we go. We even got the shrimp in there. Let's try putting something in there that we don't have a starting point for, like an old lady waitress screaming. So we'll go ahead and erase, and I'll say old woman waitress is yelling. Move the art box over there, maybe give it a little more context, and just see what it can create. There she is! Soft focus and everything. So this makes for an interesting picture for an image to video process because there's a lot of implied action going on here. The guy is eating, he's eating something that's weird that we could possibly add some movement to the tentacles, and this woman is yelling about something. So it's just rich with opportunity. But to be able to use it, we gotta save it out of here. That's when we would just select it. We can download a PNG version of the image that we have selected, or we can download all of the images on our canvas as one big collage, or download all the images individually as a zip file. All of these are practical, especially if you're storyboarding like a movie, and you can just create all the images you want and then download them in one fell swoop. I'll just download it as a PNG file. So now we can just choose the image to video service we'd like to try this with. We'll say, man eating a squid burger, slimy tentacles dripping slime on table as angry waitress shouts. But Artspace has more tricks up its sleeve. If you click on any of these images you've created, you're going to see clear, which will of course erase it, the ability to zoom in on the image like that, and in the middle, the most exciting, the magic icon. From there, you can upscale the image, you can restore the image, reimagine the image, which is what we're going to do here in a second, do face swapping, determine the prompt of an image that wasn't created in this software or was, or remove the background. So let's play with a few of these things. Let's click on upscale. Now, every now and then you're going to get this warning, which means that the art box is sitting on top of an image somewhere and that you need to move it so that it's clear because it can't do what you're asking it to do on top of another image. So I'm going to click OK. I'll zoom out so I can see where my art box is. It's right here. I'm just going to move it here, go back over here, choose upscale, and you'll see that it automatically creates a new art box at 4096 by 2304. The original image was 1920 by 1080, as you'll recall. So we're basically converting to 4K, and there's the result. Now, this is a little large to work with. We'll go ahead and clear that out. We'll go back to this image. Reimagining is a little bit more than a variation. It's actually a reimagining of the entire idea. So we compare that output. It's the same thing, a guy eating a burger in a restaurant, although we didn't squidify this burger because it was reimagining this one here. It's the same concept, but a very different look and style. Now, the face swap is critical in applications where you're creating consistent characters with AI imagery. If you don't have a LoRa or some kind of model that's trained specifically to a face that you can use that will assure that the characters are consistent every time you generate them, you can use face swapping to put the face you want on top of whatever is generated. So for example, if I wanted my face in this image, I click on face swap, choose an image, it'll create a new art box, and there is the swapped out image. And there they are side by side. Now let's take a look at formulas because they're a quick and easy way to try on different styles, but also if you're new to this and some of this terminology and the prompting is unfamiliar, then this is a great way for you to learn how certain keywords impact your image. We'll demonstrate by first just using a simple prompt like Bigfoot reading Reader's Digest on a crowded subway. I'm using the Nova 2024 preview model here with no preset and at 1024 by 1024, and I'll just generate this. So there's our initial image, kind of looks illustrative, and it says Reader's Digest there. So now let's go to formula. Let me just click clear and we'll show you the basic functionality. It starts with the subject, and in this case, it's just Bigfoot reading Reader's Digest on a crowded subway. And now all of these options here allow you to add styles, artists, formats, boosters, vibes, and perspectives. You don't have to do all of these. Let's just start, for example, with styles, and let's look for something that's more photographic. Photorealism for a style. We'll go down, we'll skip artists for right now. We'll look at format. We'll do action photography, and boosters we'll do 4K and 70 millimeter. Vibes will do hairy, whatever that means, simply because we've got Bigfoot in there. And then perspectives is kind of your shot. I'll just go 85 millimeter and we'll click apply, and you'll see that it has built us a new prompt, Bigfoot reading Reader's Digest on a crowded subway in the style of, and then it's added all those keywords we've done. So let's generate that and see how it impacts the image. So now we've got a more photographic take on this. Let's do another one. We'll go up to formulas, and this time we're going to click the inspire button, which randomly generates a combination of styles and artists and all of these things, which is great if you just don't really care what it looks like. You just want to be inspired with new ideas. So now we've got this much longer prompt. We'll go ahead and click apply, and we'll generate that and see what it does. Here is the result. Shall we do one more? Let's go to formulas. Let's click inspire again and take a look at what we've got here. Unfortunately, I don't recognize a lot of these artist names. Let's try this prehistoric art, neoclassicism, Annie Leibovitz, and so on. With a disposable camera, post-processing, bright and tender, apply, and generate. And there you go, Annie Leibovitz, disposable camera, advertising posters. So a nice quick way to try out different styles and learn a few things about prompting. Let's say we wanted to see a little bit more of this street. That's where outpainting comes in. That allows you to extend the canvas. The way it works is you overlap the area that you want to extend with the art box so that it has, again, the context, and then give it the prompt. Let's say we want to see not only an expanded view of the neighborhood, but maybe a fire hydrant. Okay, so we're going to say a fire hydrant on the side of the road. And there it is. To demonstrate the Discover prompt, let's bring in an image from the outside. We'll use this one here. Click Magic and click on Discover Prompt and give it a second to interpret what it's seeing. And here's our prompt. A koala is sitting on a bus, etc. We'll click Apply. And now it'll be interesting to see what this generates from the prompt. I'm going to go to the Flux model because I like it the best and it's the most realistic. I'll go ahead and make this about the same size. We'll use this prompt and see what it does with this interpretation. So again, another entire spin on this thing that can give you some creative ideas. This would be hilariously fun to animate. Two little toggles you should know about. First of all, the smart content filter. If you turn that on or off, it determines whether or not you're going to be able to produce not suitable for work content. That is your own creative choice. You can choose to use it or not. Let's take a look at what happens if you use Boost Visual Vibrance. Let's just create an image, a dragon on a mountaintop. We'll actually just make a nice square image here. Let's make this a close-up. There we go. And now let's use that same seed number so we can get basically the same image. And this time we'll click on Boost Visual Vibrance and click the exact same prompt again. In this case, it is a subtle difference in the way that the colors are handled. Generally speaking, it's going to make it pop a lot more. Here we prompted a bouquet of flowers in a hospital room. Now I'll turn on Boost Visual Vibrance and I'll render again. I'm not using the exact same seed, so it's not going to look exactly the same, but what we're looking for is what the effect of the Boost Visual Vibrance does on a similar prompt. And you can see it, there's just a little bit more contrast, the colors are a little bit deeper and richer, so it's a choice, and I don't like it on every image, but in this case I do. But now let's talk about the pricing plan. We live in an age where there are subscriptions everywhere, and I can understand why these people do subscriptions, I guess, because the technology is always changing, they have to develop it, but what Artspace is doing, at least through the end of 2024, this is what they've told me, is offering a lifetime deal. So let's take a look at it. For $67 one time, you can do 500 images a month, use the images commercially, and you've got access to all the features and all the models. So it's just about having 500 images a month. If that's enough for you, then for life, you pay $67 one time and you will have 500 images a month. Pay $117 one time, 1,000 images a month. Designer Dreamer lifetime deal, $187 one time for the rest of your life, and you'll get 2,500 HQ images per month. If you want to go full out, you spend less than $250 and you get unlimited images that you can use commercially forever, whatever that means in today's world. But if you don't need unlimited and 500 will do, then $67 and you're done paying for image generation. There are really so many other ways you can use this tool creatively by blending images together using the Inpainting and the Outpainting and the different extensions and the models and the presets, and it really is a tool that has a lot more flexibility than you think when you first look at it. At least that was the case for me. As I say, I use this thing all the time. I've always got a canvas up on my screen with a series of images that I'm working on. It's great to be able to see them in that way. My brain likes being able to organize them and do side-by-side comparisons and have them all in one place. If these are the types of tools and solutions you like to learn more about, well, why not subscribe to this channel? Because this is the type of stuff we talk about all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I